filter deal. It was screening and had a little light on the top, and the heat from the light would force them down, and they would go out through the bottom in the screen into the water, and then I could take them and feed them to the fish, and stuff like that. And it was just, we really had a lot of fun with it, and it got Delight involved in it. And
I think he's done paper, so if you have any questions or you wanted to say something.
No, I was enjoying every minute.
This is my other question too. At one point you had mentioned, and I know we're just about done here, but one of the last questions I had for later was, you said your folks bought a resort of cottages at Hubbard Lake.
Yep.
Was it called Fagan's Haven?
Fagan's Haven.
That was
Yep.
the name of it.
Yep.
Do you know if it still exists today?
Oh yeah, well, I
Maybe not
don't
as
know.
that name, but
Oh no, it won't be that name, but I'm sure that those buildings are still all there.
it was like a main lodge and like 3 or 4 cabins.
No, it was, well, they bought two different things. They bought a cottage, but a house right on the lake itself, and they bought that from the owners of that place. Then next door to their building was a cottage, and then in back of that were 2 other cottages, and then the road that serviced all that area, and then on the other side of the road was 1 more cottage, and they bought all of that, and they rented the cottages and they lived in the one.
How about, what year was that?
That would have, oh, jeez.
Like 50s, 60s?
Trying to think, where was I at that time?
Noted it in
Oh.
I just like the name, it had a nice ring to it.
Fagan's Haven?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dad had all the buildings painted the same color. Oh golly, Scott, I can't remember. It would have been in the 50s, I would think. I think I got transferred to Detroit in the late 50s. And I think that it was about the same time that they went north.
And Mom was born in 50, so.
What did you just say?
I said that my mom was born in 50,
Oh, okay.
just to kind of, just trying to line up when that was.
Yeah, Cheryl was born in 46.
Well, Darren?
Can I go back to something?
Oh, yeah.
Just out of curiosity, and you know, we don't have to get into details, but I found it really interesting that during your 10 days between when you were training to before you left, you got married.
Yeah.
So were you corresponding during all that time, or had you been courting before that?
Well, no, we had gone together in high school. I think several different times, and would break up, and when I left, I don't have any recollection really of how things were at that time, but I know that when I came home after I got my commission, I came home on that 10 days. I can remember my dad saying to me that if I wanted to break this off, just say the word, and he said, I'll go to Brado's house and tell him it's off. I mean, it was just one of those things. I'd committed to it, and yet really didn't want it, really. But your 2 mothers were the best thing that came out of that wedding, really. That's the part that I'm happiest about, because of those 2 girls. Because I dearly love them, and
And I do too.
Dwight does too. But it really was not a marriage that should have ever happened, except for that. It was that time of the world when things were happening, and I'm sure that, well, one of Kathy's parents' daughter was engaged to a man, to a fellow in service, and he came home, as I did, on the train, and comes into the depot in Flint, and his parents and his bride-to-be and her parents are there, and he comes out of the door of the train, and as I understand it, I wasn't there, but what I heard was the first things that he said was, "There will be no wedding," and that was that. And there were so many cases like that, or like mine, that came to, they became marriages and later didn't work out, except for two.
And we are very thankful for them too.
For obvious
Well,
reasons. Your situation is probably not much different than, my mom and my dad's,
Right,
Because,
exactly. Yes, exactly. Yeah,
That was a year after I'd been born. They were
yeah,
divorced.
yeah. How is Art?
He's good.
Is he?
Yeah, he's enjoying his retirement.
How old is he now? Do you know?
He was born in 44, so what does that make him? He's 69 this year,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was older than that. Okay, yeah. And his health is good? As good as at that age?
From what he tells me,
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
if he's
yeah.
being honest,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Mhm.
Doing a fair bit of traveling. They've gotten into cruising now.
Oh, is that right?
He just came off of a cruise through the Panama Canal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Has he remarried?
No, he has not. He did initially to Nancy, and they got divorced, and then he's had two kind of career girlfriends. So he's working on career girlfriend number 2.
Yeah.
I can't forget the end of this story. That Grandpa meets Grandma and the rest.
Yeah, exactly.
They live happily ever
Oh.
after, right?
Well, one of the fellows that I worked with, Ed Lodenberger, was a fisherman too. And he had a cabin near where?
Canada Creek?
Canada Creek.
Can I walk?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And
Are you
No.
still?
Yeah,
It's
go
fine,
ahead.
just roll
Yeah.
right through.
Ed and I had planned to take a few days off in the fall to go steelhead fishing because Ed fished also, and so we went up to his cabin and we fished in Petoskey, mostly at Bear Creek in Petoskey. And then one morning he said, "Let's go over on Lake Huron." He said he had been there before. In fact, one of the fellows that worked with Delight at the lab, Ed was a friend of his, and so Ed had been out to the lab before, and so he said, "We'll go there and give it a try." So okay, we did. So we went there, and we pulled our waders on, and we get in and we start fishing. We're casting for salmon, or for for steelhead, and
This was September 27th.
Yeah, we
of
run-
71.
we run out of coffee, and finally we drank up all we had. And I says, "Well, let's go in that building." He said, "There's a pretty girl in there, and she'll have hot coffee." And he was right, both ways. And so we did, and that was the start of things.
She's
And we were both married at that time.